Mr. Franklin, welcome, sir.
Real quick, just get into the, I guess, the background of the proposal tonight is the information in the budget is required by Section 6C4 of the United States Housing Act of 1937. The operating budget for the low-income public housing program provides a summary of the proposed budget, receipts, and expenditures, approval of the budget, receipts, and expenditures, and justification of certain specified amounts. HUD reviews the information to determine if the operating plan adopted by the Public Housing Agency and the amounts are reasonable, and the Public Housing Authority is in compliance with the procedures prescribed by HUD. The budget represents the annual spending plan for all of the activities administered by the Housing Authority. A public notice for a public hearing for the budget was published in the Virginia Gazette on Wednesday, July 31st, 2024. The proposed budget for the Housing Authority is balanced at $1,267,015. For fiscal year 2025, this is a 1.5% increase from the previous budget, or 2024 operating budget. And it's broken down by revenues and expenditures. Our revenue side, we have the rental and other income. We manage 104 housing units, and we anticipate generating approximately $40,616 per month. As you know, the revenue projection is contingent upon the fluctuation of tenant income and their ability to pay during the fiscal year. The annual rent income estimated total budget is $487,400. In the other income line item, we are projecting a total of $12,500. We also receive revenue from the HUD side, and we have two subsidies that we receive. One is the operating subsidy for fiscal year 2025. We estimate it to be $387,000. And we also receive capital fund operating subsidy, and we're projecting $380,000. And as you can see, the funds are very conservative. In fact, there's no increase from the previous year or the current year budget. And that's contingent upon HUD's funding formula, which involves the eligibility determination, administrative scoring, and the availability of federal funds. And so all those are unknown, so we try to keep it stagnant. On the expense side, two drivers, salaries and benefits, and then, of course, maintenance, maintaining our assets. Salaries and benefits, we are projecting funding 6 full-time positions and 1 part-time, which represents our finance director. And we envision that with this staffing, we can accomplish all the day-to-day operations of the authority. And as you can see, there is a modest increase in the overall budget, and this is due to projected COLA increases as well as merit raises. And on the maintenance side, we will continue the never-ending fight to maintain our units, and that involves, when necessary, doing renovations and just making sure that we keep our facility in physical, sound, safe, decent condition, as well as try to maintain ways to save in energy efficient apparatuses. With that, the total expenses budgeted for fiscal year 2025 is $1,267,015. And as you can see, we have a balanced budget with that amount. For additional information, we have a total breakdown of our overall expenses for the year, as well as our revenues. That's attached to your package. And if you have any questions with regards to even previous years and current year, and also the anticipated fiscal year, we'll be prepared to try to respond and answer those questions.
Good. Well, thank you, Mr. Franklin. I don't have any questions. Mr. Vice Mayor, any questions?
No question.
No.
None for me.
Okay, I'd like to open the public hearing. If anybody would like to come forward and speak to this. Seeing no one? You all like how I kind of look? Seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing and we'll come back to the commission for consideration. So, you know, Mr. Franklin and staff, I applaud you for being able to balance the budget. I know things are getting more expensive, you know, not to mention just payroll. We're able to kind of deal with those increases with some added revenue, so very good with the budget.
Yep, I am as well.
Yes, thank you very much.
Same for me.
Okay, would somebody like to make a motion?
So I move that we approve the WRHA FY25 budget as presented.
Second.
Ms. McKay?
Mr. Rogers?
Aye.
Ms. Ramsey?
Aye.
Chair Pons?
Aye.
Vice Chair Dent?
Aye.
Ms. Kerntier?
Aye.
Okay. Congratulations on a budget.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Okay, because there's no one in the audience, so we'll move on to quarterly reports.
We have an update on the fiscal report. During the third quarter of fiscal year 2024, the authority has generated $132,851 in rent revenues. This amount brings our year-to-date total to $363,133. This also represents 80% of our projected budget of $451,508. In the other income line item category, we have generated or collected $6,618 this quarter, which brings our year-to-date total to $24,358. And as you know, I've said often, our other income consists of debt set-off, maintenance services, and also our laundry service contracts. And to date, we've received $290,769 in the HUD Operating Subsidy Fund, and this represents 75% of the projected budget amount of $387,000. In our HUD Capital Fund subsidy, we have received $30,310 of the projected amount of $380,000, and we anticipate receiving $313,000 of the federal funds, the capital funds shortly. And so any expenditures that we may be over with revenues will be satisfied and settled, and we are looking forward to seeing a surplus at the end of our fiscal cycle. The year-to-date revenue generated at this time is $779,372. Our total year-to-date expenses are $957,588, which gives us a balance of $178,216 of expenses that are over revenue at this time. And for this reporting reporting period, during this quarter, our checking account deposits and investments have a total balance of $1,006,669. And I would be happy to answer any questions that you may have with regards to this update.
Questions, thank you. Any, Vice Chair?
No questions.
So the only thing is just recognition that we're in the last quarter of your fiscal year.
Yes, ma'am.
And there's no reason not to expect HUD to sort of pony up towards the end, particularly in the latter part of September.
Well, I received word that we will be receiving the $313,000.
Oh, okay, so
So
they've
that's
already,
that's a foregone fact.
okay.
You don't have to worry about those funds not being made available. They're holding $70,000. It's just something that I guess a new requirement where they don't want you to spend all of your money, so they ask you to kind of pull it down, and you have to show where you're putting those funds based on your capital needs. And so that's just something that they just added to, I guess, their oversight compliance, and we don't have a problem with it. We justify all of our expenses.
Questions for me? Thank you.
Sir. Require any action, does it? No. Okay, takes us to operating reports.
All right, under the operating reports couple of things that I'm quite excited about. I don't want to, I guess I could go over each item, but if you don't have any questions, or if you have questions, I'd be glad to entertain anything that you want us to talk about. But the thing that I'm most happy about at this time is the fact that we have a new maintenance mechanic. We just brought on Mr. John Zingoni on Monday, and I tried not to do my Snoopy dance, but I was quite excited to see him, and he's excited to be here, and we're looking forward to, I guess, finding ways to save money because of, we've been using contractors prior to him coming on to try to help with the backlog of work orders, and so we're getting caught up. But he's hit the ground running, and he comes to us from the city of Virginia Beach. He worked in their maintenance department, and so we're happy to have him. Also, one of the things that I wanted to bring to your attention is the fact that we, as you know, we get our scores from HUD, which is the Public Housing Assessment System. It's called the FOS score. And they look at several categories. They look at the physical assessments. They look at your financial, your management assessments, and they also look at your capital fund program, how you spend their money. And they give you a score, and the total composite score is what you get graded on. And so I'm happy to report to you all that in the entire state of Virginia, we have the highest score.
All right.
That's
Big.
awesome. Well done.
Yeah.
7. So I guess that makes us number 1. And I'm happy about that, and I like to thank staff and their hard work. Ms. Burton, she runs a tight ship. But we have fun and we get things done, and I'm glad that they recognize our efforts.
Well, we certainly do as well. I think it's, quite an achievement to become number 1 in the state of Virginia, but it's almost an expectation what do we say sometimes? We're small but mighty here in the city, and I think the Housing Authority is yet another example of that. So thank you for your leadership and all your hard work, and Ms. Barton, for all yours as well.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Get done, have fun.
Well, we have fun. We do. We cut up. Well,
Well, and I have to say that since I've been on city council, I think the stability of the WRHA has greatly increased, and what you all have accomplished has become very tangible, with not only the way that you've redone the units when they become vacant, but looking out for extra things like the security and the laundromats. I mean, it shows that you really care. And I'm glad that care has been recognized by others. So thank you.
thank you. Thank you.
The front page of the newsletter to the tenants as well, that we got the recognition of being first in the state.
Okay. That's a good.
Should even be a PR piece put into the Gazette.
I'm trying to be low key, if you know what I'm saying.
Okay.
We're bringing attention.
Well,
We're getting the radar.
It does take me back to, we were at a community meeting when I still worked for the city and heard some complaints about certain housing units. And Mr. Trivett, after the meeting, we took a little stroll, and unfortunately, the complaints that were lodged that day were accurate. I mean, we had public housing units with trees growing in the gutters. So to say all of that is what an accomplishment that to be recognized as a top authority in the state, but just the work that you do every day, and all of your staff to provide the level of service and the housing units to this community is outstanding.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Also, as far as updates, we were fortunate enough to start this construction of our laundromats. We did have a bit of a wrinkle. When they were digging the footers, they actually struck a couple of utilities, and so we had to stop, correct the issue, and so those things have been resolved, and we're back at it. 6 months to complete, so hopefully by January, February, we'll have a new laundromat facility on our family sites.
Don't forget to call 611.
I'm sorry?
Don't forget to call 611. It's utility.
I wish I had an answer for how that happened, but you know, to be honest with you, sometimes when you're doing work and you make corrections, if you don't record it, then you won't know. And I think in some instances that's what happened. They didn't have 611 didn't have a record of it. So now that we've corrected it, it's been properly recorded.
Perfect.
With regards to a grant that we applied for, some good news. We didn't get it the first time, the HUD Safety Security Grant, and you guys came to the rescue with the opera funds that you provided for the cameras and the lighting. But the actual grant from HUD, they didn't spend all the money. I guess they recaptured some money from other communities. We got a call, and they said that we could be eligible for a certain amount. They didn't say what it was, but we gave them an estimate of what we needed to complete cost-wise, and we answered some other questions that they had, and they came back and said that we would be eligible for $105,000.
Wow, that's great.
So those funds will be drawn down and under the same process that we pulled money down from the capital fund project or program. So those funds will be used for additional lighting, security measures on our sites.
Excellent. Grants are great.
They are. And lastly, something new that we've just started, and that's the first annual Community Resource Fair. Was a success. We had 20 vendors that came out. Staff did a fantastic job. Our volunteers stepped up to the plate, and we just had a great turnout. And the vendors are very excited for participating in the next event, which we plan to have sometime in November. So we'll let you know if you guys have some time. Maybe you can kind of just pop in. But it's just a good event, good way of letting the community know that there are resources out here that you can tap into to get help if you need help. It's just an all-around good event. And we do have some illustrations in your package to kind of show you what it looked like and how things went.
But yeah, I think we all would at least appreciate some awareness as that event draws closer so that we don't forget it. So.
Absolutely. And as far as the actual report, if there's anything that stands out that you want some additional information on, we're here to talk through those. We do have, I guess, a listing of our activities that we've participated in the authority, and also some trainings. And so if you have any questions, we'll entertain those at this time.
Questions for Mr. Franklin? No.
I don't have a question, but I did want to just say that also, in addition to the Community Resource Fair, that's such great news, and the laundry facilities coming, making progress, I just wanted to also point out, thanks for the attention given to the Triangle Building maintenance and working with, I think RJS, in order to kind of get some things repaired there, and just wanted to say that is seen and appreciated very much.
Thank you. I hope Miss Key, I hope she's saying good things about us.
I think so.
All right, well, good. She had an emergency, HVAC system wasn't working, and so we were able to get in there and get a contractor. The system itself is antiquated, and it's hard to find parts, but the contractor was able to get it up and running. So we'll keep it going as long as we can, and if it gets to the point where we have to replace it, we'll do that. We also have a situation with her roof. We're contacted a contractor, and we're working on that. And as far as leases that need to be amended, thanks to our illustrious attorney, we are working with Ms. Shelton and making sure that we get folks good agreements so we can have a good relationship.
Appreciated.
Okay, so moving on to new business. First is consideration and approval regarding the proposed resolution 24-02 to readopt the remote participation policy policy fund in section 2-34 of the Code of Williamsburg for the Williamsburg Redevelopment Housing Authority Board of Commissions. Mr. Franklin.
As I understand, this is something that has come down from the General Assembly through the changes to the Freedom of Information Act requirements in the 2024 session. which includes electronic meeting participation requirements for members to participate in meetings remotely. So I believe that the city council actually took action on this item. And so as a formality, we have to do the same. And I would only ask that you guys move in the direction to approve this. And we have to do this annually. I mean, every year, this has to take place. So that would be
we're all-
my recommendation.
All very familiar with it.
Yes.
Somebody like to make a motion?
So I move that the Board of Commissioners adopt proposed resolution 24-02.
Second?
Second?
Okay,
Mr. Rogers?
Aye.
Ms. Ramsey?
Aye.
Chair Pons?
aye.
Vice Chair Dent?
Aye.
Ms. Kernshire?
Aye.
Okay. Consideration and approval of write-off for uncollectible receivables. Mr. Frank.
All right, during the normal course of operating the 104 rental units owned by the authority, tenants periodically move out without paying their rent, and they have late fees and sometimes work orders that, repairs that haven't been paid. At this time, 14 tenants moved out during this past year, owing the authority a total of $58,831.48. To accurately reflect the amounts receivable from the tenants at fiscal year end, board approval of this write-off is necessary. This amount will be classified as bad debt expense for fiscal year 2024, and it is required by the audit. And so my recommendation would be for board to consider, the board, to consider approval of the write-offs of outstanding receivables as of September 30th, 2024, in the amount of $58,831.48.
Thank you, Mr. Franklin. I know that we do this every year, and, you know, it's just the nature of the business of housing. I think it's larger than normal. I think last year, 19,000 or something.
Well, this one is, in particular, we had a tenant who actually trashed a unit in frustration, being, I guess, evicted. And this, I think the total damage was around 20.
Yeah, well, that's unfortunate.
I mean,
Have done all that damage and now, go through
But-
this.
teachable moment.
Yeah, right. Okay. Any questions?
Yeah, no, I was just gonna make the same point. It just seemed much higher than previous years.
That explains it.
We've had a good year in terms of collecting. I think we received a debt set-off collection of around, what, 10,000? 11?
Today, as of today, is over 12,000 that we've collected that set off, and a lot of it comes from this write-off list. Majority on this list has been fraud underreporting, and then the damage, and they have to pay restitution.
Well, when you take away the outliers, the 28,400 and the 17,900, you're at that 20,000 range, so, which would pretty much be normal. Ms. Crunchier, anything?
No. Sounds like some of the money will be coming back to us too. So it's a write-off today, but we'll receive, what, a surplus, or it'll just be another stream of income from some of the restitution money from someone paying it back?
The debt set off, we are taking state taxes. So once we get a judgment on the amounts, I'm able to take.
Okay. All right, thanks.
So I move that the Board of Commissioners approve the write-off of outstanding receivables as of September 30th, 2024, in the amount of $58,831.48.
Second.
Okay?
Mr. Rogers?
Aye.
Ms. Ramsey?
Aye.
Chair Pons?
Aye.
Vice Chair Dent?
Aye.
Ms. Kernshire?
Aye.
If there's no other business,
I move that we adjourn.
Second?
okay?
Mr. Rogers?
Aye.
Ms. Ramsey?
Aye.
Chair Pons?
Aye.
Vice Chair Dent?
Aye.
Ms. Kernshire?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
So you go to